Alright, hello and welcome everybody, welcome one, welcome all, to episode 13 of Watching Walford, an EastEnders podcast where we talk about and review all of the EastEnders episodes every single week. With a fine-tooth comb, we like to take all of the details and spend way too much time talking about the little minutiae that doesn't really matter. And likewise, welcome back to the Watching Walford channel, which is more than just one podcast, as we make news videos, we make opinion pieces, we talk about characters leaving and joining the show, and, as said before, we occasionally report on the news. This podcast is audio only, but perhaps in the future, maybe eventually, we go to video, if you guys want us to, in the comment section down below, or if we eventually make a Patreon for it. But I am your host, Ash, and I'm joined by Piggy. Piggy, how was your week?
My week was normal. Of course, this is coming out on Sunday, so we do have to pretend. Wasn't WrestleMania great, Ash, wasn't it?
Wow, such a great night one of WrestleMania. Holy.
I can't believe Seth Rollins dressed up like Logan Paul when Logan Paul found the suicide body. My God.
Wow, what a guy. What a guy. The Undertaker pile drove Fred Durst into a table full of kids. Great night at WrestleMania.
Great night. But yeah, my week's been alright. There's been some WrestleMania figure reveals.
Oh.
For people who don't know, one of the figures that is my profile picture on Discord is years ago in about 2011, there was this line called Defining Moments. So it had Austin in jeans from when he drove the Zamboni. Was it the Zamboni or was it the Budweiser truck? And he sprayed the McMahons and Rock. There was
the Corporation.
Yeah, there was Undertaker with wings. The reason I'm bringing this up is you'll understand in a minute. So there was Undertaker with wings from Survivor Series '96. There was Bret from the Montreal Screwjob. There was Ric Flair from one of his title reigns. So yeah, so basically, the Gobbledygooker was a character in wrestling who. For people who follow The Undertaker, you might know this. So the reason I'll explain it. So in 1990, Vince McMahon was high off cocaine, the same cocaine Tony Khan uses today. And Vince went, lads, I've got this great idea. We're going to bring in this big wrestler called The Undertaker, and he's going to come out of an egg. And Undertaker thought, well, that's what Undertaker thought, but it was the Gobbledygooker. And basically, Gobbledygooker was this giant turkey who makes no sense. So they finally released the Gobbledygooker figure after 12 years. And I am so happy.
Yeah, it's feels like it'll be a pretty rare one in the grand scheme of things.
It will be pretty rare. I'll have it on my display. He will be looking out to the crowd, doing the Austin, chugging the beers. Give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
I pre-ordered 2 of them, bit expensive, but one of them is for his birthday, and not his birthday, for Christmas, and he's reimbursing me the money.
Oh.
So,
He's
not reimbursing me all of it. He's reimbursing
okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, cheers for the birthday present. Yeah, I paid for it, shit. But you sent it to me, so. Oh, anything else?
I pre-ordered that WCW set.
Nice.
Basically, for people who want context, I don't know if we'll get back to 5K, but if it gets back to 5K, you basically get WCW Nitro's stage. Not the 2000 stage, you get the one everyone knows with the giant WCW letterings.
Yeah.
and it's giant nitro stage.
And a
Would have
bunch of
loved it, man.
wrestlers.
Yeah, you get at 5K you get Rey Mysterio, at 7K you get DDP, at 9K you get Big Papa Pump, Big Bad Booty Daddy,
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner, and then at 11K you get the Cunt, and as an early bonus you get Racist Hot Dog Man if it gets the 5K by the 7th of April.
Those were both Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. For
Yeah,
people not in the know.
and basically Hogan was the racist one, Warrior was the Cunt.
Yeah, pretty
People who
much.
want to know.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Because for people who don't know, the Warrior loved two things in life: burying people and and gay people, and also making money for himself and burying the business.
Indeed.
Because every shoot promo you see of the Warrior's like, "Oh God, I have to do this again," but my character. And you're like, Warrior, it's wrestling, it's make believe. Shut the fuck up. And Warrior's like, but my character needs to go to the moon. And you're like, Warrior, shut up.
Yeah, pretty
You're a
much.
big steroid junkie. And Warrior was always like, but my character, brother, my character.
Yeah.
They held Vince McMahon up for money in 1990.
Indeed.
And, and McMahon fired him, and then McMahon brought him back, and Warrior went, well, my dad's dead, I need to go now, and left. And then in 1998, he joined WCW, lost to Hulk Hogan, and he went, well, I'm leaving. And that was the end of the Warriors' wrestling career, nearly.
Pretty
He
much.
had, ironically, one match against a gay man, was his last match, which is so ironic in my opinion, because in the early 2000s he bashed gay people, and then his last match was against a gay person, which is just chef's kiss. Like, that's EastEnders storytelling right there. But yeah, so I back to the WCW stage, and I plan on buying the SmackDown Fist next week if it's still on eBay, because I've
Nice.
been hunting down that stage for years. It came out in like 2002. I've been trying to. I don't care. It's not complete, but I've been hunting down this stage. I've been wanting this stage forever. That's the thing. I have the
Nice.
Raw set in my disposal. It's in my wardrobe. And I'd love this SmackDown set completed because then I'd have both Ruthless Aggression stages and all. For people who don't know, if you're confused, basically in WWE there used to be this old stage where it's SmackDown, and it was and SmackDown's thing was just a giant fist. So like it's a fist on a stage
It was this
on
like
top of the
massive,
stage.
like steel looking fist. It was amazing.
Yeah,
It's really cool. Look it up.
or there might be an image on screen now.
There will not be.
There won't be. But if I buy it, I will update you guys. If I don't buy it, I will also update you guys. Also, if I can talk about the reveals again, they unveiled an Ultimate Edition Roddy Piper. Now, it's not my favorite Roddy Piper because my favorite Roddy Piper was WCW, where he's bashing trans people. And he's just being batshit crazy. And also TNA Piper, because if people who don't know, TNA Piper was basically like, Vince Russo, you killed my best friend. You killed Owen Hart. And I'm like, I really want that Roddy Piper in figure form where he's just bashing gay people, trans people, and Vince Russo. But yeah, obviously Roddy Piper loved everyone. He was just in wrestling. His character was he was a madman. He didn't actually hate trans people or gay people. It was just his character.
Very true.
Well, we hope. We can't ask him. He's dead. So
Let's
yeah,
just hope for
that's
the
been my
best.
week. Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of good things about him. So
Yeah, yeah.
what else happened? Not much happened. I'm going to see the Mario movie Wednesday,
Oh,
and also get breakfast. Got a
oh.
breakfast burrito.
Sounds like a decent week for you.
I've also got an Easter egg for tonight and some gin and tonic. Gin and Coke, I should say. Not Tony Cans Coke, just regular Coke. I like my Coke with no caffeine, no sugar in it. I help the calories with the fat boy.
Okay. I'm
I'm the
I'm
fat
a
boy.
Pepsi Max boy personally.
What'd you say?
I say I'm more of a Pepsi Max kind of guy.
Ah, did you know Pepsi released a new flavor? I think it's called Pepsi Nitro.
No.
I don't know if it's an old flavor. I'll have to Google it very quickly. But yeah, they released Pepsi Nitro, I think.
I also learned that Pepsi Max is actually just really smart branding. Because I thought the Max meant all the sugar, but it means no sugar. And I was absolutely stunned when my best mate Jake told me this. He was just like, "No, it's no sugar, mate." And I'm like, "What? But it's Max. They said there's, what's Max? No sugar, maximum lack of sugar. What nonsense is that?"
Hold on. I have Pepsi Nitro here. Well, it's Nitro Pepsi, and it looks a lot like Guinness, but it doesn't taste like Guinness from what I was told. There's
So,
Pepsi Nitro.
all right. What flavor is it then?
I think it's vanilla. Is it
Is it like
vanilla?
an energy drink?
It's like draft cola, and it's also vanilla draft cola.
No, that
So like
sounds bizarre.
here is a image I've robbed off Google for you to see. See, look, it looks more like Guinness.
Oh yeah, just a lot more. Yeah, it looks a lot more rich and has a lot more
I'd love to
foam.
try it, but me never get anything fun over here.
Yeah. You know, ask me how my week has been.
How's your week been?
Wow, thank you for asking.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
it was a busy old week. Doing a lot of the leather worky stuff. Probably a bit more than we should have. We were in 4 days this week, despite only really needing to work about 2. Um, but that's aside. Had a nice start to the day. Went out to get some milkshake. Not like fancy milkshake, but there's these like vending machines have been popping up everywhere that just that sell milkshake and sell these like glass jars, and it's like £2.60 to fill it up with like actual milk and like syrup, and for like £2.60 is an absolutely unbelievable milkshake. I've currently got dark cherry. I feel like that would be fairly. I feel like most people don't like cherry. Do you like cherry, Piggy?
Um, I don't mind cherry.
I feel like it's a
It's
fairly.
not really.
I feel like it's a fairly common opinion for people to just be like, "Nah, cherry sucks, man."
It depends, really,
I mean, I don't like
doesn't it?
eating cherries because there's a massive fucking seed in it. But you can't exactly get people to take out the cherry seed because it's fucking huge. It's like half the cherry gone.
You just make me hungry, so I might go grab my burgers, and I'll be back down in a minute.
But otherwise, yeah, got some dark cherry milkshake, ate some KFC. Also bought a Scotch egg from their vending machine, and that was one of the best, tastiest Scotch eggs I've eaten in my fucking life. That was banging. Love a Scotch egg,
Mm.
mate.
So we've both had interesting weeks, didn't we?
Yeah, sounds good. But with all that aside, it's
I'm gonna
time.
go grab my burgers,
All
and
right.
Ash is gonna take it away. And just quickly, Reese is a goated character this week, but I will be back in a second.
Indeed. And so, yeah, we're going to be reviewing week 13 of 2023. The episodes going from the 27th of the 3rd, 2023 to the 30th of the 3rd, 2023. Now prepare for the duff duff as it's time to transition into episode 1 of week 13 of 2023. We kick off the week with Keanu kicking a ball, as Sharon, Phil, and Kat are discussing the relaunch of the brand new boxing gym. They exchange digs and laugh it off till Keanu runs over and asks Sharon for work to help pay for Albie. Sharon says that you don't need to, but he insists. And Sharon just says, well, maybe we'll talk later. I'm too busy for this nonsense. And she heads straight after Linda, who is ruffled because Janine might not plead guilty, meaning that Linda may have to actually go speak to her in court. Like on trial type thing. And we also need to stop and get excited as two of our favourite characters are back. The Liam Neeson of the Square and the Del Boy of the Square. It's Reese and Alfie. Alfie tries to sell Reese an old wedding dress, but he nervously walks away, and it's revealed that Reese hasn't paid his rent this month. Naughty, naughty. Piggy got upset at Martin calling Reese a weirdo, which we'll just happily gloss over, because Piggy is a big Reese fan, and will defend him with his or their life. Sharon wants Linda to be there at the Boxing Den relaunch. She initially says no, but then goes, go on then. Not very hard to convince Linda to do something else. As this happens, Lola is talking to Ben, who wants to help setting up the bowlers and bow ties, fundraiser, but Lola says she's got it sorted. Then she runs into Jay, who reminds her how important it is that they go to the hospital, as they've said it's serious. As Lola says later in the episode, if the doctors tell you it's serious, maybe you gotta take it serious. They're not gonna be like, it's serious. You didn't tie your laces. Then Keanu walks into Peggy's, looking like a sad puppy. Sam asks him about it, and he says that they're going around in circles. She reminds him that he's a sweet young man and that Sharon's circling 50. And she essentially says, be open about your feelings and express them. And prove to Sharon that you want more than just sex. I like how the way they've made Sam's character happen is they've made Sam like that, friendly but kind of quippy aunt who just gives you advice but is absolutely miserable herself. So everybody around her is becoming happier because of what she said, but she's just miserable. Kathy is stressing out over the vicar meeting, and Rocky steals a bun quickly as Sonia walks in and starts asking questions. How does it work with you and Kathy? And Rocky says, I sleep on the left side, she sleeps on the right side, and then we meet in the middle. Sonia says, me and Reese do that, but I don't know if I want to charge him rent. As he hasn't paid, but they haven't really talked about it. Is she his landlord, or is she her lover? I guess lover works. And Kathy continues stressing out, says it feels like you don't even want to get married, as he munches on the final bit of his bun and walks out. Keanu walks into the laundrette and confides in Karen about how much he loves Sharon. She does the usual giving out about Sharon, and begrudgingly accepts, but reminds him to protect his heart, and says to make a gesture that you care about her. Not flowers, though. Then at the gym reopening, we see Sharon talking to the press as Kat and Phil are discussing finger food. Ben's there with Callum, and he jokes about his dad saying he's in his element here. And Phil says yeah. But then Ben suggests maybe he could help with some of the coaching, and Phil says nah, don't worry, we've got that sorted. Welcome back, Piggy.
Hello?
Hello. We've just gotten to the bit where Phil has essentially told Ben, nah, we don't need you at the boxing gym, lol. And then it's that time of the year, Piggy. It's that wonderful time of the year when Ben Mitchell pushed himself way too far because Phil made him feel inadequate. They love this angle with Ben. They do this storyline once a year where Ben feels like he's not worth enough for his dad. And I fucking hate it. It's so much. Because they do it so often. It's like, guys, you've gotten past this point now. Phil cares about Ben, and he's happy with Ben. But it's a continued cycle, really. And at the gym, it's big opening speech time as Sharon and Phil introduce everyone to the boxing den. She says even though a Denny couldn't set foot in it, it'll be good for the confused teenagers. And then Phil chimes in saying it'll help people build confidence and feel comfortable in themselves. This might sound a bit crass. And I know that parents like to think the best of their kids. But Denny was an absolute shitebag. And they act like he was a fucking angel. He was a prick. He was an absolute dickhead. Nobody liked him. Nobody. At all. He was an asshole. Like, stop acting like he's an angel. He was a prick. I implore anybody to actually say they liked Denny Watts. Because I'll tell you, you're fucking lying. Hate that kid, man.
So do I.
Just
because keep bringing him up.
I mean, I feel like you're allowed to bring him up. As a parent, you never want to have a kid die before you. And yeah, carrying on, Sam talks to Sharon and kind of tries to get the idea across, like, hey, maybe Keanu's actually mature and not a teenager. And it seems like she's just filling time till when Keanu gets there. And say his name and he appears. I believe in Keanu. Okay. He's suited and booted to the nines and is off to make a grand gesture. He's off to propose to Sharon, for Christ's sake. And Lola's talking to Sam over the phone, and Sam explains that she's fully booked. She's stressed out, and Jay tries to say it'll be positive, but Lola says, when has a teacher ever kept you behind to give you good news? And the boxing match commences, and a couple of the square residents are quipping about it. Alfie says he's a 2-time under-12 boxing champion. Linda says something about him being an outside fighter, and Callum tries to get Phil to realise that Ben is overcompensating because he feels like he isn't good enough for him. Just as Sharon informs him that one of the demo fighters is too busy throwing up in the bog. And surprise, surprise, Ben says, I'll do it, even if there may be some complications with his implant. Rocky is trying to weasel out of the church wedding and asks Kathy, why is Bobby B dressed like a Mormon? Rocky sends him off to, Kathy sends him off to get to the shop to get some milk, but he hasn't. He's listening to Kathy and Bobby B talk about love and church weddings. They discuss Pat's wedding and how magical it was. Bobby asks if Pete was the love of her life. As a personal note, I'd say so. And she tells him how she thought she was done with weddings after Gavin, but she's a hopeless romantic. And gives him the advice that the worst thing you can do is not be open to love. And Bobby says, hey, Rocky won't hurt you, as Rocky looks a bit sad as he leaves the house. Oh.
You know what I love? This burger. It is lovely.
Alright. What burger is it?
It's just regular beef from Tesco.
Alright.
On Tesco buns, and it is delicious. I also went out and got a feast. I have also a hot cross bun and some apples because I am a hungry boy.
Alright. That's a mix.
I've got 2 burgers and I've digested one. Then I got a hot cross bun and an apple.
Sound.
Some dinner. A beautiful dinner.
Yeah. And Piggy's favourite character, Reese and Sonia, are discussing the lack of rent and their awkward relationship. Reese wants to take care of Sonia emotionally, physically, and financially, and insists on paying rent. And she wants to make sure she wants to make sure the line between girlfriend and landlord is more clear. And as this happens, Rocky is conflicted and finally opens up to Sonia about him being married. Sam quickly tells Keanu to calm the intensity down as it's coming off a bit stalkerish, which it definitely is. But he says he's just waiting for the right time. But he's been a bit of a little weirdo, so stop it, Keanu.
Oh, I believe in Keanu.
Rocky gets a drink and talks about how they were only married for a few months, so does it even count? And he says he'll sort it as long as Sonia doesn't tell Kathy. And Rocky says, I'm not collecting wives, I just like wedding cakes, which is my line of the week. It was big fun. I think another line of the week candidate, which I remembered, is when Sam and Keanu were talking in Peggy. She's like, I'm not your like therapist, but I can suck on the end of a pencil if you like. It's just, Sam has some of the best lines. Just as an aside. And yeah, Sonia quickly gives him the ultimatum like, oi, you tell her or I will. And back at the gym, we see Ben boxing. Phil and the mob are cheering as Linda walks in and reveals that Janine pleaded guilty so she won't have to face her in court. And as the boxing match continues, Ben gets caught off guard and leathered with a right hook and is like a wounded animal. He gets a stiff blow and is out of the demo fight, just as Lexi walks in with Honey to see her dad bleeding and on the floor. And Keanu makes a scene as he proposes to her in the middle of the ring in a grand gesture. He gets down on one knee, pops the question as everybody looks stunned. She tells him to get up and storms out.
Oh, Jesus.
Not the finest marriage proposal.
No.
And just one lovely note is that she's proposing with a ring he proposed to Louise with. So it's not even a new ring. It's way to make a woman feel special, Keanu. And in the final scenes of episode 1, back at the hospital, the doctor gives Lola the news, and it ain't good. The tumour is advancing, and the doctor suggests more chemo, but it's only palliative, meaning that it'll just reduce her suffering. Lola is told that she has 6 months or less to live. And episode 2 kicks off as Lola is sobbing in the bathroom, obviously upset, being told she has 6 months maximum left to live. She asks to be let in, but Lola flips on like a switch and goes straight to organise the fundraiser. And Keanu and Sharon have a big lovers tiff as they're upset from the recent proposal. She gets upset that he made a shelve her at the boxing den, but why did he sleep with Chelsea? Why did he take comfort with Sam? And Keanu says he just wants to man up and have a family with the woman he loves, as she opens up and says how she just doesn't want to get hurt again, as Keanu plants a kiss on her. Keanu leaves her to think about it. Will she say yes? And why is Keanu always back on when you don't want it? It does. It feels like who else would Keanu actually get with, though? Because it feels like Keanu's bracket is either Chelsea, Whitney, and who else is there? That's it. Right? Is there any other, young adult characters on the square? And Chelsea or Whitney barely count anymore. Where are the 20-year-olds?
Could do an incest angle.
No, thanks. I'm good. I'm good. Let's not do that. I guess Lola? But she's married.
You're really flogging a dead horse there, aren't you, Lola?
Who else is there? Dottie left. Ash left. Tiffany left. Keegan left. Well, he's not gonna shag Keegan. Yeah, there's really no one else on the square, so I guess it is him and Sharon forever. Maybe when the knights come in, maybe Keanu will get with one of them. Hopefully something else other than Sharon Watts. And at the pub, Sam walks in and orders wine, and she makes Linda and Alfie embarrassed by suggesting that they are together, and they kind of shy away from it. Turns out Sam is just outright lonely. Poor Sam. The vicar talks to Kathy and Rocky and they talk about how it's fine to get married even if you've been married before, and questions how a charming man like Rocky hasn't been married before. He says, yeah, it didn't work out, it was Bobby B. Tells her that she is Muslim, and if he'll still be able to give her away. She says, yeah, pretty much, that's fine. No worries, mate. And the date is set for May time, which Rocky is pretty unsure about, but Kathy is thrilled. Nice little scene. I'm just glad that the pastor didn't go, you're a Muslim! Ah! Get away! She just
not in my house. You're not a Muslim. Get away from me now, you bastard!
Yeah, she just went, yeah, sure. Don't matter.
I bet if I told her I was an atheist, she'd be like, what do you mean you're an atheist? You saying God ain't real? Yeah, pretty much. Just like your marriage ain't real, bitch.
Oh.
This apple is nice.
Don't know why you're fighting the pastor. She was a perfectly nice woman.
I don't know. Okay. It's because I want communion bread to be nice. I want it to taste like bread, not fucking Amazon boxes. Have you ever tasted communion bread? Jesus.
No, I haven't.
Go on Amazon right now and order some communion bread.
I'm good. I've got other things to spend money on.
Well, I'll buy you a packet and send it to you.
Will it get here before my Easter egg?
We'll see about that.
And Ben asks Honey why Lexi was at the gym and outright blames her for Lexi being upset. Honey says, yeah, Ben, sure. Yeah, it's always someone else's fault. Not your fault for suddenly jumping in a ring when you weren't supposed to be fighting. You dick. And then Kat and Sharon talk, and she tells her to go for it. You know, even though there is a massive age gap, and there really isn't much between Sharon and Keanu, most marriages are built on a lot less. Lola and Jay arrive home, and Lola is worried about finding a venue. Jay is confused by this, but has a lot to deal with. Meanwhile, at the Vic, Sam and Alfie talk about their romance and their experience with it. Sam is sad because she always wants romance, but that complicates everything. She asks if she fancies Linda or the pub, and Linda, who overhears this, storms off and lashes out at Alfie. She said she doesn't know what she's going to do, as the previous chapter of his life is over now that Janine has pleaded guilty. She's the last one on the sinking ship of her life. Excuse me. He tells her that she's much more than a friend to him, and he doesn't mean it in a romantic way, but he cares about her so much. She knows that everyone thinks she's just moved on to a new man, but he says let them talk, and agrees that they're mates for life. Do we think
I bet by Christmas they'll be shagging.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Agreed.
Also, for people who want to know, my burger was nice, my hot cross bun was nice, and the apple was lovely. I love a good apple.
What kind of apple?
Green apple.
Oh. Nah, you get me a pink lady. I'm thriving.
I think it was the Tesco finest apple. So, it was picked out in Nigeria and sent off to Ireland.
I like the I like the slightly sweeter apples. I don't really like the sour ones too much.
Oh, I don't mind apples really. It just depends. And apple juice is nice, but it looks like piss. So, and it's very sweet. Which ew.
It's incredibly sweet. There
And
was a
apple juice is supposed to be good for you.
yeah. I'm not. I mean, actual apple juice, not the shit they sell in the cartons. That is sugary as fucking terrible for you. But like some like natural apple juice, probably pretty good for you. And also I do agree. I do. Alfie and Linda are gonna be shagging soon. Just you wait. And Reese talks to Sonia and about Rocky's situation, about how he's got a secret wife. He says that her previous experiences might end up having the best thing in Rocky's life get taken away from them. He tells her that her judge. Oh, I wrote this twice. What? Yeah, he tells her judgment is going to let Rocky's best thing in his life be taken away from him as Sonia looks to quickly leave the house. As Sharon is playing with Albie, who is playing with his toys, she's saying she just doesn't want to get hurt again. Apparently Albie's fat, according to you, Piggy. Do you want to fight your claim?
He just looked fat.
He's not. He's not a fat baby.
He looked like Santa Claus.
Then we see Reese and Sonia rush into Kathy's house and tell Rocky to not tell Kathy. It's very awkward, but it's genuinely quite funny. We recommend it. And back at the Vic, we see Phil and Kat having water and orange juice as Lola walks in to talk to Sam and desperately wants Peggy's for tomorrow, but she says she can. Phil sees it's going down and allows her to get it tomorrow, free of charge. Good man, Phil. Yeah, why would you not? Why would you not allow a fundraiser done by a dying woman to be done for free? And then the Liam Neeson of the square, Reese, with Sonia, make sure that they can find Joe and they can get to sign the divorce papers, leaving enough time for Rocky to tell Kathy. And then Sam and Sharon have a big conversation about today, and Sharon tells Sam that she's always the one who gets used and thrown away. And Sam says that she was so jealous that Sharon means so much to Keanu, and tells her that she is so lovely. Lovely? That's not it. Tells her that she's so lonely. There we are. Completely changed the scene. But yeah, Sam just kind of goes, mate, I'm so lonely. Like, come on. Why you, like, just accept his love. He wants to love you and take care of you. Why are you not doing it? As Lexi and Lola talk as Lola brushes her hair. Lexi mentions Ben getting hit at the gym as Lexi asks where Lola was. It's a really hard scene because Lola's just sobbing as she's like brushing Lexi's hair. As we then cut to Jay, who's sobbing his eyes out in the car. It's just fuck. It's really sad scenes going on here. And Sam is drunk and sad on the bench alone as Alfie tries to comfort her, but in turn gets kissed, which he pushes away from. Phil then calls her a joke and questions who she is anymore, and mentions that if Mum could see you now. He also ridicules her over why she couldn't just put family first. Keanu and Sharon talk about the proposal and have a serious conversation about the relationship. Sharon does say that she does have some love for him, but they hardly know each other. She says that if she marries someone, it needs to be someone she knows inside out. Things have changed from him being 19 and her being the attention from him being 19 and her being the attention-starved housewife. So she isn't gonna marry him. But they are gonna get to know each other a little more. They kiss. Episode 3 kicks off with Rocky trying to track down Joe to try to get to sign the divorce papers. He gets interrupted as Kathy is speeding things along as she has gotten the wedding invitations to write. Rocky weasels out of it, but Bobby agrees to do it. And Sonia gets a message from Rocky, which just reads, "Help." Jay and Lola talk, but Lola is in full plan mode for the bowlers and bow ties event. Jay wants to talk about it, but she refuses right now, and Lexi interrupts, which is the perfect distraction. Keanu and Sharon are in the celebratory phase, as they look to clear up a lot of the cross wires they've made en route to being together. Keanu wants to help his mum, but Sharon refuses. And Sonia and the Liam Neeson of the square meet Kathy in the cafe, as she's writing the wedding invitations. She tries to get Sonia involved, as she is the maid of honor after all, but they quickly realise that they desperately need to find Rocky's wife. Sam tries to have an apology coffee with Lola, but she isn't interested. Meanwhile, Rocky's asking Harvey questions about how you would find someone you haven't seen in donkey's years. He asks how you would find a Josephine Cotton, but Harvey doesn't connect the dots and go, "Wait, that's your wife." Keanu wants Karen to come to the Vic and have a pleasant conversation with Sharon to sort out all their differences. And Karen is annoyed when Keanu says, "I just want you to support your son." Lola grills Ben over Lexi seeing him get beat up, and she reminds him how important it is that he takes care of her, as he doesn't realise that Lola's not going to be around forever. Freddie walks into the cafe and gets his nose involved in the Reese and Sonia trying to find Josephine Cotton. And at Peggy's, Lexi and Lola are setting up for the fundraiser, and Lexi almost makes Lola cry. Well, essentially because Lexi went, "Oh, I'll fix you, Mum," and tries to fix it, and she thinks that she's gonna get better. And it continues as Ben and Callum waltz on in. Callum looks like he would fit right in next to Mr. Tumble. He looks fucking ridiculous. And yeah, Freddie gets involved, and basically Sonia stalls Rocky saying they found a dead end, and she essentially says, "Yo, maybe the best idea to tell Kathy and delay the engagement, but in the end it may be the best idea." And Jay arrives at the fundraiser, as has the Dan 7 of the square. Lola confides in Jay that Lexi thinks she's going to get better, and she says she doesn't think she's strong enough, as she asks for a minute with all of them. She thanks everyone for stepping up for her, and then apologizes. She tells everyone that the tumor has gotten bigger, and that she has 6 months to live. They all get upset and try to figure out solutions, as Lola says sorry to Lexi, who pulls out some of her pocket money as she was saving to hope that she would have fixed it. Poor. It's another really sad scene, because everybody just kind of breaks a little bit inside. Oh man, it sucks. It sucks. I am gonna cry when Lola dies. And if I don't, they've really done something wrong. And instead of postponing the evening, they decide that they're gonna go through with it. And Freddie is trying to educate Reese about social media stalking, and finds Josephine Cotton immediately. Nice. Freddie said he's like the Rain Man of social media stalking. Which is fucking ridiculous. Sharon and Karen are sat in the pub next to each other, not saying anything and being the most awkward possible. As Keanu arrives with Albie, and he asks if they want a drink, and they both say, "Thought you'd never ask" at the same time. Biggie, what do we think about the age gap between Sharon and Keanu?
I don't know.
I just think it's one of the main parts which makes the relationship so strange, because it looks like it looks like he's talking to his mum. Sharon, Karen's in her 50s, right? And he's dating someone of a similar age. I don't have the biggest issue with age gaps whatsoever, But there's like a good 30 years in between them. So, I don't know, man. I just don't think they have much chemistry together. And Kathy is talking about wedding cakes that have been delivered as Rocky wants to have a serious discussion with Kathy. He says that he hasn't pulled up the full picture as Sonia rings just as he reveals to her that he hasn't been married before. Rocky tells her how it was 20 to 25 years ago after a couple months and that they shouldn't have gotten married in the first place, and he tells her that they never got divorced. Kathy is beside herself, just furious about this. And in the pub, Karen makes a toast to SHEANU. They're all soppy as we're reminded that he proposed with the ring he proposed to Louise with, and he's also moved in. Karen is appalled when she believes that Sharon is just going to use him again and throw him away. And Kathy is upset because every single man in her life kept lying to her. She says she has all the time in the world, as when he finds Joe, he can get right back with her. Kathy cries because she believed that the world was going to give us some happiness for once. And she tells him to get out of her life. Sad. Back at Peggy's, as they're doing particularly well on raising money for this, but not before Lola delivers a big speech. Janet wins the award, and definitely so because of her sequined aqua blue jacket, bow tie, and matching headband were amazing. Janet's got style, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Lola delivers an emotional plea about how a lot of sufferers have to deal with this alone, without their loved ones. As Bobby meets Kathy in the Albert, she's struggling after Rocky's recent revelation. He comforts her as she cries. And Jay realised that it was Sam who did that £300 donation and says that good people do. Beyond her hard exterior, she does have a heart. I love Sam Mitchell. And in the final scenes of episode 3 at the car lot, Freddy has vandalised the car with shaving foam. It was a message from Bobby apparently, and it was supposed to say Tosser, but Bobby spelt it Tozer. Tozer? I hardly know her. Sorry. He reveals that Freddy found Joe, and he gave her Kathy's address, so now they can thrash it all out together. And he sees a brunette about to ring the doorbell and at Casa Kathy. She says hold on, let me just finish up this bit. She says she's looking out for Rocky and asks if her husband is in. Duff. Carry on, Piggy.
You know what I would love? Do you remember the Monty Brown pounds? I would love if Rocky ran up and absolutely pounced her.
He just runs up and shoulder tackles her. The final episode of the week commences with Kathy refusing Joe entry to the house as Rocky shows up in time. He asks her what she's doing here, and Kathy gets upset about all of this and says the wedding is off. Joe is upset because he went out for a paper on the 29th of October 1997 and disappeared into thin air. He genuinely went out for milk and never came back. Joe is upset because she spent so much time looking for him, checking hospitals and missing persons registries. Joe lets herself into Kathy's and asks for a drink and is going to put some hairs on Kathy's chest as it's time for story time about Rocky. And at the fundraiser, we're also proud of Lola and what she's done. Lola looks to make plans with Emma, but she once again flakes out on her now terminally dying daughter. Great one, Emma. Good job. Proud of ya. Joe takes the piss over Kathy's taste in wine and men, and Rocky wants to work this out, but Kathy's uninterested. He says he's sorry for everything as he leaves with one little rucksack of all his things. It seems like Joe is going to take a lot of enjoyment over this. as we see Rocky crying in the middle of the square on the bench. Jay asks Emma if she's thinking about leaving again and gives her a stern talking to. He reminds her to not make it about her. Sonia notices that Rocky's been thrown out, as Reese wants to make sure Kathy knows that Rocky didn't mean to hurt her. She also got a postcard from Bex, who's currently in Bangkok. And this isn't going to mean anything to anyone, but Bex is one of my favourite, most underrated EastEnders characters. Just putting that on the record. Anybody else love Bex? Tell me in the comments below. So I'm not alone. Rocky, he goes straight to Sonia's as he had nowhere else to go. The show starts to pick apart why she would go with someone as pound shop Casanova as Rocky Cotton. And Kathy starts to argue Rocky's side, and she tells her that he's a decent man. And she chucks her out. And I wrote, man, what a gig. Come to the square, slag people off, then leave. The Stone Cold of the square. Ben talks to Callum in the pub and he's upset because he can't wave a magic wand and fix this, as Callum tells him they are going to fix this. And Callum offers pizza, but Ben decides to go to the gym instead. Sonia and Kathy are talking about Rocky, about how he loves her. And she is upset mostly because he organised her to get there behind her back, but that wasn't Rocky. And she's upset because it's so unreasonable to think that she would be upset over a mistake he made 25 years ago. But Sonia reminds her that he makes her happy and that he's worth holding on to. And Sam talks with Emma in the pub about the fundraiser as Joe arrives and raises hell. Emma opens up about Lola's current situations and how she never thought of her actually dying. And Emma expresses how she knew she wasn't going to be able to cope, and that was half of why she never came looking. She doesn't think she has it in her to support Lola. She feels like she needs to run and she can't make up for all those lost years. And Sam reminds her that all she needs to do is be there. Reese, Sonia and Rocky are eating dinner around the TV in the most suburban English household setup I've ever seen. They look like they're all eating a roast with their little TV mats. It's just so... it's so silly. But Kathy arrives and wants to know how he could do this to her. He says he's sorry and tells her that he would have never done this maliciously. And he says he's a mug because he's given up on the one person he truly loves. She gives him one more chance and one more lie as he says he'll never, as they make up and hug. I feel like this has kind of made an example for if Rocky ever wants to leave, that's exactly how they're going to do it. Rocky's going to tell this big, long lie, and it's going to get found out, and then she's going to throw him out, and he's going to have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I imagine Rocky leaving. If he for some reason decides that he doesn't want to stay. But I feel like Rocky will be here for a good 10, 20 years. For sure. I feel like this is his... Basically, it feels like he's not going to give this up. Unless he has to. Sorry, it's me just taking a drink of the milkshake.
Oh.
And Sonia and Reese are proud, but Reese looks a little bit awkward. In a cafe, Ben is scouted to be the guy who battered him's sparring partner. Oh boy, now time to question if Ballum are gonna split up because Ben's found a new man to spar with. Ooh.
Ooh.
Emma arrives at the house and reveals the news that she's relocating to the US and that she's agreed to go, and that her boss is relocating to the US and she's agreed to go with her. Emma apologizes, but Lola's had enough. Lola says she should be happy she even had some time with her instead of her just leaving without telling her again. Lola gives her a classic EastEnders slapping down because she doesn't think she's capable of living, or at least as like Lola has. And Lola doesn't even give her a chance of saying bye to Lexi, as she tells her to leave. As that marks Emma's time on the square over. Or at least that's what's being reported. If you want to hear our thoughts on that, go over and watch the Rating Patsy Kensit's Time on the Square, coming out in the next week. And Joe has been at the pub the whole time when Rocky and Kathy appear as she wants to clean him out. Like, I'm going to take you to divorce court, you're going to get everything. And Rocky laughs at her because Rocky's worth absolutely nothing. As Kathy says she'd wait for him even if they had to go to the courts. And Sonia and Reese are doing a crossword on the sofa as she asks him if he wants to go to Bangkok to meet Bex. And he makes a lot of excuses, but looks rather helpless. Joe also takes some unsigned divorce papers to Rocky and hands them over, and leaves with a smug grin on her face, as she has the chance to make Rocky a bigamist, and potentially send him to prison. And the final scene of the episode and of the week features Reese and Sonia, as she is looking at flights to Bangkok, but Reese steps out for a second and makes a phone call requesting to speak to his wife. Alright, and that was episode 13 of Watching Walford. Piggy, what did you think of the week of EastEnders?
It was an interesting week. Big stretch. It was an interesting week. Not much happened, but Reese was on it, and that made my day.
Yeah, Reese is back. Reese having a wife, bit of a shock. If we do some theories, I feel like his wife may be like ill or something and like dying. Or
that just
something.
makes him out to be a bad person.
Well, they can be in these situations, and sometimes the wife or sometimes the dying one goes, "Hey, listen, all right, like, I want you to find happiness without me." Type deal. I don't know. I haven't really thought it out too much. And what do you reckon is?
I feel like he's been abused in his previous relationship.
Okay. Pretty interesting. And you say like it would explain as to why he's like so socially awkward and lacks confidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it makes the most sense. Like he can't just be socially awkward because he's socially awkward. Like, something has to have happened in your life to make you socially awkward.
I mean, I'm naturally socially awkward. Nothing's happened in my life.
Yeah, but for most people, like...
Yeah, I guess most people aren't. Like, most people are naturally quite confident, so... But yeah, I thought it was... I think it was a lot better than the other ones in March. I think March was a pretty slow month, but I think that last week had a lot of fun stuff. Reese and Sonia back, the drama of them trying to find Rocky's wife, but Freddie writing Tozer on the car instead of Tosser. Like the Sam stuff, the Keanu proposal. And I suppose let's finally get into the award segment. With the award segment, obviously, none of the basically we're going to avoid a lot of the Lola scenes because they are obviously the more heartbreaking, sad scenes. Obviously, there's not really much time to poke fun at them because it's supposed to be a genuinely serious scene. So why would we give a genuinely serious scene like some dumb award? But without any further ado, Piggy, let's start off with a Steve Blackman Award, the most wooden character this week on the square.
This needs a lot of thinking.
I've got one immediately.
Who's that fat chick that Honey's daughter? What's her name?
What, Janet?
Yeah, Janet, you get my Steve Blackman Award. You did nothing.
Why are you abusing Janet? She's great.
She's a great character, but you did nothing.
She never does anything.
Yeah, do something with your life, you little bitch.
Well, I like Janet, and I'm not gonna give any abuse towards Janet.
I don't mind Janet, but she's getting my Steve Black over.
Alright. I'm gonna give it to Ben, because his boxing stance was garbage, and he got beaten around like a stick of wood. So he gets the most wooden award. He's a naff boxer. And it's a step back for the character, as he's gonna recede back into that, Daddy Phil, am I important now? And then Phil's gonna be like, no! And then Ben's like, please, but I want to be important. It's like, not again. And who is your underrated character of the week?
Reese.
Alright, sound. Yep, fair enough. No explanations necessary. I'm going for Sam Mitchell. Her character is genuinely tragic. Like she's way too selfish to like truly welcome anybody in. But even when she does, it usually ends up like messing up for like other reasons. Like she could have been happy with Ricky, but instead Ricky Jr. got someone pregnant and now she's got to try and be a good mum again. And she's lonely, she's sad, and I want her to have a good time. So Sam is underrated. And finally, the slapping down award. Mine goes to Emma Harding, who, despite all the time she spent on the square, supposedly trying to make up with her daughter for abandoning her 23 years ago, she's just left her daughter, who has 6 months to live, alone again because she can't handle it. I'm sorry you can't handle it, but you've got to live with the rest of your life with the loss that you've walked away from your terminally ill daughter. You piece of shit.
Jesus, calm down. Jesus.
Well, who needs slapping down for you?
Emma. We'll both go for Emma.
I think I've expressed that well enough.
You like no, but if I can add on, like you come back to the square, everyone belittles you. You should realise maybe I am a bad person. Maybe I did do something wrong. But no, you're like, I did nothing wrong, guys. Why are you all bullying me? Why are you bullying me? I did nothing wrong. I'm a victim. I'm being victimized. I'm a victim. I'm calling the police. And everyone's like, you abandoned your daughter, lol. And then she just turns around at the end and is like, I know you're dying. But you see, I have to go to America. I know you're dying. But fuck you, bye.
Yeah.
You were a great character, though, Emma. Leave the memories alone.
We did enjoy you, but unfortunately, you didn't get a very nice exit.
Leave the memories alone. I don't. Oh, I forget the lyrics.
But yeah, that was Watching Walford number 13. Obviously, we don't have any social medias. We are just youtube.com/Watching Walford. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts on the episode down below. Share the video, like the video, talk about it. Give us a good discussion point. If you want to listen to us on the way home from work or something, we are on Spotify at Watching Walford. Rate that 5 stars and share it around as well. And we're on some other podcast platforms. If you just look up Watching Walford, you'll probably find us. I have been Ash, and I've been joined by Piggy.
And I've been joined by the 33 subscribers that we have.
Indeed. Look at us. Made it, Mum. I'm 29 of them. Untrue, of course. Welcome all of you here. It's nice to see you. It's nice that I hope you stay with us and stick with us as we continue to get better and better every single week. Thank you for watching Watching Walford number 13. and join us next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.